You want to know something that really tweaks my melon? I was listening to a podcast a day ago, and it was about how to raise your rates as a web designer. And the advice was just realize your internal worth and charge more, right? But that's such bad advice for two really big reasons. The first reason is you can potentially tank your business overnight just by raising your prices too much, right? Like you could price yourself right out of the market. And even if you don't price yourself entirely out of the market, like maybe there's areas within the web design market that could sustain the new rates that you have, you could very well be pricing yourself out of your market. Like the reputation that you have and the referrals that you're getting and the target market that you're currently serving, in which case, all of the referrals and leads that you get are now going to be unqualified, right? And so you literally tank your business overnight just by raising your rates too fast. The second problem, which is really a much deeper problem than that, because you could potentially retarget assuming you can weather the storm long enough. But the bigger problem, though, is when you price your project and try to raise your rates based on your internal worth, it doesn't really mean anything, and it's the longest, most uncertain way to scale your web design business. Here's what I mean by that. What if you say, hey, I've been doing this for 15 years and I've got a graphic design degree, and therefore I'm worth a lot more. Well, how long is it going to take you to get the graphic design degree? Or how long did it take you to build the 15 years of experience? Like, what if you don't want to wait 15 years? Or what if you don't have the degree yet and then you have to go get the degree? Well, how long is it going to take to get that? It's like, if you have to accumulate these credentials in order to be worth more, that takes a really long time when you could be raising your rates and doing a much better job for your clients right now. So then there's the other side. Okay, well, what do you do then if you're not pricing the inputs of your projects? The solution is price the outcomes, price the value of the results. Like what impact are you having for your client, and price that, right? So like imagine if you were going to buy a website from somewhere and one person said, hey, look, I've got some great ideas for how you can increase your revenue. Like we can get you some more leads, we can fill your calendar, we can add online courses, we could do a subscribe and save for your e-commerce store, we could save you money by automating some support so you don't have as much strain on your live support team. Like all of these great benefits. And the other person says, oh yeah, but I've been doing this for 15 years and I have a graphic design degree. It's like, what? It's like, that's not anywhere near the same thing, right? Everyone's going to go with the results over the degree every day of the week. It's like, so if you're relying on justifying your rates because of time in the industry or these degrees that you have or whatever, or like how long it's going to take you to create the project or something like that, I think you're going to find that that's a losing argument. And the much more exciting argument is, hey, let me show you how we can actually drive some awesome results. That's the difference between pricing inputs versus pricing outputs, right? Like you're not pricing like the finger power. So like here's how you can know if you're kind of on the finger power side of things. Like maybe you've been running your agency for a while and then you're like, man, I'm getting really stretched thin here. Like I'm just overwhelmed. Like I'm going to have to do something. And so you start outsourcing, right? So you got so much work to do. You begin to bring in some outsourced help. So now you got a little bit more finger power to do the work. And then maybe that continues to go well. And you think, okay, well, maybe I'll hire some employees now. And so now you've got even more finger power to do more of the work. But here's what's happened. You're not really charging more. You're just doing more. You see what I mean? So you're kind of like stuck to the floor plus a little bit more. And you're just doing that bigger and bigger. And I'm saying, don't do that, right? Like why stick to the floor when you can do a lot more, right? So instead of stuck to the floor plus a little bit more, why not shoot for the stars by saying, hey, look, what if we could, add another, $10,000 per month to your client's business. And now they're up like $120,000 over the year, which is maybe only like a couple extra clients a month, right? And then you can say, well, okay, well, now that I've added 120 grand to your business, what if I charge you like, $40,000-$50,000 for that? It's like, well, that's a pretty good deal. That's like triple or at least double their investment in 1 year. And so you made them like $50,000, $60,000. But like if you just said, hey, I've got a degree in 10 years in the business, I'm going to charge you like $40,000, $50,000 for this website, people are going to be like, you're nuts, right? It's like you need to fundamentally offer a different type of thing. So rather than pricing and selling the implementation of web design, bump it up a level and say, hey, this is what I can do with my skills, and this is how it will benefit your business. And because of that, you're now charging based on the value of the outcome, and that's gigantically more profitable for you because you're not stuck to the floor plus a little bit more. You're now actually charging based on the value, so you're vastly more profitable the client's getting much better results, and even their customers are discovering them because of you, right? So like everyone's winning right on down the line, as opposed to everyone over here who's just relying on their degree to just get stuck to the floor plus a little bit more. Now, here's the thing. It's probably going to open up some questions for you, which is like, well, how do you do that? Like, how do you charge for results? Like, do you like offer like a guarantee, and then if you don't hit the guarantee by a certain time, there's like a discount or something? Or do you set everything up for free and do like a commission-based thing? Or like, how do you price all of that stuff? And how do you, what's an example of that? Well, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, check the link in the description. There's a whole video workshop on how to build a solution first agency, where the focus is on the solution rather than the implementation. Or if you want, you can just go over to doublestack.net/call, and we can hop on a one-on-one Zoom call together, and we can just talk live about how to implement these new ideas into your business. And if any of this stuff is working out for you and kind of making some sense, so rather than being stuck to the floor plus a little bit more, you want to actually do a lot more, then go ahead and like this video for me, because that will help other people discover the video. And if you want to, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to keep releasing more and more tips on how to drive better results through web design. But here's one last thing. Even if you are pricing the inputs of your projects, right? So you're trying to figure out, well, what is the floor? Because obviously the floor is important. Like, you have to know what the cost is to you to actually implement the solution, but that's the floor, right? You don't want to be stuck to the floor plus a little bit more. You want to shoot for the stars. But even if you want to figure out, well, how do I calculate the floor? I bet there's a lot of stuff that you might be overlooking right now that should be included in that floor cost. So check out this next video over here, and I'll show you a bunch of things that should be baked into the equation for what you actually charge in terms of like that floor price, but I bet you're overlooking.